Hi, how are you today? This is Auntie Nat's Crochet. Thank you for choosing this tutorial video. Do subscribe to my channel. The subscribe button is at this corner over here. It will mean a lot to me. I have hundreds of videos, so do check them out. And today, this pose, I am going to do a chrysanthemum leaf. This leaf will be slightly different from the leaf I did earlier in the chrysanthemum series. But they still lace yarn. These are lace yarn, and you'll need wire. I'm using a 0.8 mm size wire, and also this kind of sticky tape for flowers. When you make flowers, you can get it from the art and craft store. It's not exactly sticky to the hand, but you can just curl it around the wire and it will stick. And I am using a 2.5 mm hook. Okay, now let's start. Okay, we're gonna start by making a knot. This is just my habit of making a knot, and I'm going to chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So after I chain 15, I'm going to add one more chain, and I'm going to go to the second stitch from the hook. This is the hook. This is the first stitch. This is the second stitch. Go to the second stitch from your hook and start to do single crochet. So I'm going to do one single crochet here, another one in the next, and then another one. So all in there'll be 3 single crochet here. 1, 2, 3, 3 single crochet. And now I'm going to do 8 half double crochet. 1, 2, these are half double crochet. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. After this 8 half double crochet, I'm going to do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And you will have one last stitch here. This last stitch I'm going to do 1 single crochet, chain 1, and 1 single crochet again into that same stitch. So by now I've turned to this side. So you're gonna hide this tail along when you crochet. So I'm gonna do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. So after this 3 single crochet, I'm going to do 8 half double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So after this 8 half double crochet, we'll still have 3 more stitch. These 3 stitch I'm going to do single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and then jump over to the other side and do a slip stitch. And this one here we can cut it off later on. And now we're gonna start the next row. We're gonna start with a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. After this chain 3, I'm gonna yarn over twice and do a treble crochet into the next stitch. Put through 2, put through 2, put through 2, and you're gonna do 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and next stitch is still a treble crochet. So after this treble, we chain 1 and do a picot. We put through here and do a slip stitch, then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and go back to the same stitch and do a slip stitch. Then we go to the next stitch and do a single crochet followed by a half double crochet. Then I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. So after this double crochet, you're going to chain 1 and do a picot. You go through here and do a slip stitch. And then we're going to do a double crochet into that same stitch. Then we chain 2 and slip stitch into that same stitch. So next we are going to do a single crochet. The next stitch you're going to do a half double crochet and you chain 1 and do a picot like this. Put through the top 2 here and do a slip stitch. So after this slip stitch, you chain 1 and go to the same stitch and do a slip stitch. So it looks like this so far. Then I'm going to do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, which will bring me to the tip here. So at the tip here, oops, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. It's a single crochet, and you chain 1 and do a picot, slip stitch, and go back to the same stitch. Whoops, go back to that same stitch and do a single crochet. Then here I'm going to do single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to slip stitch into this next stitch here, and I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to do a half double crochet in the same stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and do a picot. Wait, like this, and do a slip stitch. Then you half double crochet into that same stitch. The next stitch you do a single crochet and then slip stitch to the next. Gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This is actually the same as this side, it's just that now we're doing it the opposite way. Going to do a double crochet into that same stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1 and do a chain 1 picot like this. Then I'm going to do a double crochet into that same stitch. Then a half double crochet in the next stitch, a single crochet, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. I'm gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This is the part where we're going to do treble, so you yarn over twice. You do a treble crochet into that same stitch and put through 2, put through 2, and put through 2, and you chain 1 and do a picot like this. Then again I'm going to do a treble crochet into the next stitch. Oh, sorry, it's a treble into that same stitch. Then you're gonna do treble in the next 4 stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I have 4? Let me see. 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Go to the next stitch and do a slip stitch, and again slip stitch to the end here, so it will look like this. Okay, now the leaf looks like this. So now I'm gonna add wire. I'm gonna start from the bottom here. I'm gonna do, sorry, I was afraid of that screechy sound. I hope you can bear with me for a while. Oops. Okay. So from here, the bottom here, we start to do single crochet all around with the wire. like this. Okay, this part here, you just push it up like this so that this part it won't slip away. I think should be here, and this part here you just do single crochet into that space area. Oh, sorry, because it's a treble, you just do 3 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and the rest you just follow this stitch. Just go along with this stitch. Every stitch do 1 single crochet, bringing the wire along. I'm sorry for that scratchy sound, but I hope you know what I mean. Just follow this single crochet. Here the picot, you leave the picot. I will jump to the next stitch and do a single crochet. So, okay, I'll tell you what, let me see where's the picot. Okay, here the picot is here. Do another picot at that same spot. You chain 1 and do a picot exactly at the same spot. So this way we do not have to count our stitches, like how many stitch before the next picot. So here, continue. Every stitch we will shape it later on. You can shape the wire later on. Now you just let it be. So it's like this. Can you see? You see there's still a picot here. And this one will go down. This wire will go down and up again. Just follow the leaf all along. Now you might not be able to see it because I haven't completed the whole thing yet. Once I completed every single stitch with a single crochet and a picot at every picot. Sorry for that screechy sound, because I'm trying to do this in a very small area. So can you see? You go all the way, and when you reach the picot, do a picot, then you single crochet together with the wire. So later on I can spread this leaf out. So I am going to do this off screen because I need space. Oops, see, I will either knock my phone or you will hear a lot of screechy sound. So I hope you get what I mean. So you're gonna do this all the way until here, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do over here. Okay, I did crochet with the wire all around. So now I'm gonna cut this yarn. You do not need to leave a long tail, just a short tail will do. This one I can hide it inside here later on. Hide the yarn in between the wire like this. Then use this to hide this. First, you curl around the top part here a few times before you start to move downwards. Push this up. When we're done with all this, then only we will shape the leaf to however we like. So as for now, just concentrate on this part. I'm gonna do all the way to the bottom. And then you can cut this away. It's a little bit sticky, so it does stick. So there we have the leaf, the chrysanthemum leaf. So you can bend it anyhow you like, because the wire is all around here. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in my next post.